Well, good morning. It is good to see you today on day number 35 of our Lent video series. We are coming down to the home stretch here. We are at Tuesday morning on the Passion Week. We have a few big celebrations coming up this weekend. We have Maundy Thursday on Thursday night. Then we have Good Friday. We don't necessarily do anything with our church, but Good Friday is a big day on the church calendar. And then, of course, Easter morning, where we have a sunrise service and our regular service. And so the next few days are going to be a lot of great opportunities for us to gather together as a church to celebrate the true meaning of Easter and what really Jesus did for us on the cross. And what we've been doing up to this point throughout the season of Lent here is we've been looking at 40 different names connected to Jesus in the Bible. And this has been 40 different ways that we can get to know Jesus better. And so if you want to go back and look at any of the previous videos, they're all on our YouTube channel. There's a link below that you can actually look at some of the names and see if there's a video that you would like to go back and watch, because some of these names are well known, well understood, and then there's others that are rather obscure, or we don't necessarily discuss Jesus in these terms, like when it comes to certain names. And so I would encourage you to maybe review some of these names together with your family or with others, really as we get to know Jesus better through the Bible. And just one more administrative thing I should point out is, if you didn't notice, on Saturday there was no video, and it was because I was taking my friend Nathaniel back to the airport down in Omaha, and I just ran out of time to put out a video on Saturday. And so we are technically a day behind, and so my goal, or the plan is either on Maundy, Thursday, or maybe on Good Friday, we're going to have two videos. One of those days, one of the videos will be at 8 in the morning, and then the other video at 8 at night, in order to get caught up and finish with day number 40 on Saturday morning. And so if you noticed, we're technically a day behind, but we'll get caught up and we'll finish this series before Easter. Well, today we are looking at the next title connected to Jesus in the Bible, and that is how Jesus is the Son of God. He's the Son of God, and this is a pretty powerful description of who Jesus is, and it really comes from the Gospel of John. In fact, let me pull up this the verse here from John chapter 1, verse 49. And this is Nathanael when he was called to be a disciple, one of the 12 disciples. Nathanael makes this statement about Jesus, and he says, Nathanael answered him, saying, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." And so this is a pretty profound statement on the part of Nathanael. And I wrote down a couple reasons why this is so profound. I mean, first of all, this could be just Nathanael having this messianic expectation from the fact that, Jesus is the Messiah. In fact, when you look at the whole story here, let me pull it up on the Logos Bible software, and let me pull down where it says Jesus calls Philip and Nathanael. And so, at the beginning of this section here in John chapter 1, first of all, Philip is called. And Philip must have been, thinking of Nathanael, because all of a sudden we see Philip go find Nathanael and then say this: "Listen, we have found him of whom Moses in the law and also the prophets wrote about. And Jesus of Nazareth is his name." And so, and we know, from previous discussions, even in this series, that the reality is the prophets have always been pointing people to the coming Messiah. And so Philip is making, the fact that Jesus is the Messiah that the Old Testament is pointing to. That's the point that Philip is making. So he goes, finds Nathanael, and here's what Nathanael says: can anything good come out of Nazareth? Because again, like we even discussed this last Sunday sermon this past weekend, where we looked at Jesus entering into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, but really he comes as the Messiah that everybody was hoping for. But then it wasn't very long where people realized, wait, this is not the Messiah that we expected. This is not even the Messiah that we wanted. And that's why, on Palm Sunday they can be shouting, Hosanna, Hosanna in the highest. And then on the next day, or a few days later, they're basically saying, crucify him, crucify him. And so that really is tied up in that statement here of, can anything good come out of Nazareth? Well, Philip said to him, come and see. And they obviously start walking towards Jesus. Jesus saw Nathanael coming towards him and said, hey, behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom there is no deceit. And Nathanael said to him, how do you know me? Jesus answered, before Philip called you, when you were under the fig tree, I saw you. And so, God is omnipresent. Jesus is omnipresent because he is God. And so he saw Nathanael under this fig tree, either praying or just contemplating things about who God is and so forth. Maybe struggling with something, we don't really know. But that's where Jesus saw Nathanael, and Nathanael answered, saying, Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel. Recognizing how, yes, this truly is, this person truly is the Messiah. What a wonderful story. And so, here is basically Nathanael having this moment of revelation, realizing that Jesus is the Son of God. And this is pretty profound, really, not only in this moment for Nathanael, but in this moment for the disciples, because, for the first time, really, there's a recognition of Jesus' divinity, his connection to his heavenly Father. Really, this is something that up until this point, nobody necessarily recognized in Jesus. Maybe John the Baptist realized it in some way as well. There's another verse here that really talks about this fact that Jesus was the Son of God. And it is in Psalm chapter 2, verses 7 and 8. And again, this psalm is a messianic psalm in the sense of pointing to how the Messiah is going to come. And it says here, I will tell you the decree. The Lord said to me, you are my son. Today I've begotten you. Ask of me, and I will make the nations your heritage and the ends of the earth your possession. And so here it is pointed to how Jesus is God's son. And when this psalm was written, it wasn't really necessarily pointing to Jesus. It was pointing to the Messiah being the Son of God. And Jesus fulfills this role. And so a pretty powerful title given to Jesus here in the Bible. And so I guess the question now we have to ask ourselves is, what is the application to this? Like, if this is true, and we know it is true, but if this is something that we see Jesus being connected to in the title of being the Son of God, really to show his divine nature to Nathanael and really on how he truly is the Messiah. What does it mean for us today? Well, I wrote down a couple different things here. First of all, if Jesus is the Son of God, I believe it shows us on how Jesus deserves our worship and allegiance. Like, if Jesus is the Son of God, he's not just a wise teacher. He's not just, a miracle worker, someone that does miracles in our lives. No, he has all authority. He has all glory. He is worthy of our complete devotion, our worship, our obedience. And like Nathanael here, we're called to recognize and respond to who Jesus truly was, because Nathanael responds, right? He follows him. He becomes a disciple of Jesus. And so we should recognize Jesus in the same way with his divinity. And I think like knowing that Jesus is the Son of God, I wrote down here, the second thing that I wrote down was it shows that Jesus sees us and personally knows us. Because just like Nathaniel, he saw under the fig tree, Jesus in turn being the Son of God, being omnipresent, being everywhere at all times, can see us. And so if you are in a moment of despair underneath a figurative fig tree, or a moment like Nathaniel where he was off by himself, you're not alone. Jesus sees you. God sees you, and he knows you intimately in that. And I think the final thing is, I believe seeing Jesus as the Son of God shows how much a confession of that matters. Like, Nathaniel makes his public profession for everyone to see, and Jesus, responds by saying, because I said to you, I saw you on the fig tree, do you believe? You will see greater things than these. And he said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, you will see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man. And so, all of a sudden, when this confession happens by Nathaniel, all of a sudden it leads into Jesus saying, you will see greater things than these, and you will see heaven open. You will see amazing things happen. And I believe it doesn't necessarily show that there's power in the confession, but I think it shows basically how much our confession matters. And we see this, let me pull up the Logos Bible software again. We see this really under the purpose of the book. Now Jesus did many other signs in the presence of the disciples, which are not written in the book, but these are written so that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God. And here's the key phrase, and that by believing you may have life in his name, and a life that is abundant, a life that is beyond any comprehension. Well, I think we're going a little long here, and partly because I wanted to try to do my best off the cuff and give a good description to Jesus being the Son of God, because I think it matters. I think it really truly matters that we don't just see Jesus as a friend. We don't just see Jesus as this person that walked the earth and had 12 disciples and taught his 12 disciples many things and so forth. No, I think it matters to see Jesus's divinity in being the Son of God, and like the things that I even pointed out. I mean, it changes everything, because when we recognize Jesus as the Son of God, it reframes how we see suffering. It reframes how we see, purpose in our life, and then it reframes our hope and our identity, and being connected with Him as well. And so these are important things to realize. I went long this morning, but again, thank you so much for continuing to tune in. And I look forward to day number 36 tomorrow as we continue looking at 40 different names connected to Jesus in the Bible. So God bless. See you soon.